There's another report. This is from Dov Kleiman, taking it way back to last year. He says Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones in 2021, and the organization talked him out of it. Buy or sell that report?
I'm selling that. My God. So now the guy who makes the most money, the guy who has the ultimate control, the guy who runs the offense, the guy who is the tip of the spear when it comes to, offensive everything for the 49ers, on the biggest decision, he's going to defer to some road scout. No. Kyle Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan has said it. There's interview at this point. What are we doing? This is like Jim Harbaugh time. We've plowed this ground already. Yeah. Kyle has said it. He liked Mac and he liked Trey, but clearly he saw the dynamic potential of Trey, and that superseded the advantages that Mac had as being ready to go and genius-like in so many ways. So,
if this were true, it's like, what would that say about Kyle Shanahan? You have final say on this, and you're going to let someone make the decision for you? It's your team. You hired the general manager. You put the whole thing together. At the end, you're going to let Jed York tell you which quarterback or me tell you which quarterback to take. You're the expert. So if it's true, it's really bad, and I don't think it's true.
The only thing that would make it true, Grant, is if Kyle doesn't have conviction on players. He's a great play caller.
Someone has to make the decision for him.
Or just, I'd be gun shy too if I drafted Dante Pettis and Jalen Hurd and CJ Beathard and some of these guys, Joe Williams. And I personally was the reason that those guys were drafted. I might be questioning myself. So who knows? Maybe he gets into the thing and he really liked Mac Jones. But ultimately he's like, you know what? I'm great at this. He's great at that. I'm going to defer to my guy. It's possible people defer to other people in business all the time who they feel are specialists in their field. So ultimately, we're never going to get the answer to this. But I think the bottom line is Kyle was comfortable with Trey and Mac. I think either one of them being his decision. And I just can't believe that he didn't want Trey, but he was forced on him by somebody in the organization. Don't buy it.
Well, Trey was the right pick, so I'm glad he got there. I'd hate to think that Kyle Shanahan is so nervous about, the unknown of what's going to happen this year that he's floating this right before the season starts to cover his behind. Because I can't help but notice that a month ago, he didn't have, but Brandon Marshall and Pac-Man Jones came to the Niners facility and he gave him a one-on-one, which I'm sure to get a one-on-one with Kyle, you would have to give him the questions ahead of time. And one of the questions was, did you want Mac Jones? So it's like, do you want to talk about that right now? If I were Kyle and I was on that, and I'd be like, I'm not talking about that. I've done that before. I'm with Trey, but that made it through on the IM podcast one-on-one. It's like, what, dude? I hate to think that Kyle is doing a last-minute hedge and rehashing the past to do it. That would be weak. So I'm going to say he's not doing. I'm selling this.
Yeah. I think he's such a relatively relaxed guy. I don't know that he demanded to know the questions there, but that would be, maybe I'm naive in saying that. I don't know. That's my sense of it. I'll say this, Grant,
fair. I don't know that. So I don't know if that's fair. That's
and I'll say this. I interviewed Kyle when I was at KBR several times throughout the year. Never one time did ever he ask for any question to be included, not included, nor did at any time any PR or any representative of the Niners ever inquire to me, Tom, or Rod about what our questioning would be. So I think I don't think there's anything there.
That's good to know. Yeah, I don't buy this. Joseph says, Grant, appreciate the cameo for my bachelor party. Libraries do suck, though. Oh.
You do a cameo?
Yeah, those are fun. Glad you had a good bachelor party. Rich with the bands says, do you think Trey would be better if he trained with Jordan Palmer this offseason? It does seem like Jordan Palmer gets results. I heard Josh Allen talking about him. He was just like, yeah, my mechanics were pretty bad until I saw Jordan Palmer. Like, oh.
I didn't know that about Jordan Palmer. I will say this, though. Trey, I think, Alex Smith I thought a lot about Alex Smith this week because Alex Smith was the number one pick in 2005 and became a 3-time Pro Bowler, but it did not happen until 2013. Yep. And so think about that for a second. That was his 8th year. I'm not saying it's going to take 8 years, but
I got a hot take.
It may not be this year, but he could still wind up being a very good quarterback. Go ahead.
I got a hot take. The Niners would have won the Super Bowl in 2012 if they would have given the job back to Alex Smith. I said it. I said it. Here's why. Colin was great that year too, okay? But the Niners lost to who that year? No, they didn't lose anyone.
They lost to the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say it. I don't know.
Would he have been able to go into Atlanta and win? Would he have been able to win in Green Bay? Right.
His numbers were really good that year. He had completed 70% of his throws.
It makes you wonder, though. After watching the way those two careers went, it was clear that Alex was an ascending player at that point, and we were still maybe tied to the NFC title game because he was horrendous. Alex was horrendous in the NFC title game that Kyle Williams lost them. He was like 0 for 13 on third downs or something. It was really bad.
He was. But the Niners could beat Seattle with him. They had a much tougher time. Colin would kind of melt down when he went to Seattle. Alex won in Seattle. And the next year, they lost in Seattle. So, I don't know. I mean, Alex Smith was very accurate. I don't know. Colin was great, though. I'm just saying.
I'd love to see Alex Smith with the weapons the Niners have now.
If Alex Smith could have gotten drafted into this situation that Trey Lance has and sit for a year and then play, he might have just been what they wanted him to be.
But you remember how bad Alex was that first year.
He was awful.
Really bad.
He was extremely bad. Drew Loya says, why did we not set up Trey with the better offensive line outside of Trent? We are just very subpar. He's going to be going off schedule constantly. Yeah, I guess that was my big question from the offseason too. You'd think. And it's like, look, they cut Jimmy Garoppolo's salary. Great. Are you going to use that cap space? Because if you don't, it's kind of like you're still paying Jimmy because the money's still not being tied up or whatever.
Who did people want? I know there was a lot of talk about J.C. Treader. You saw he retired.
He's retired, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I told you. Lakin.
Yeah, I just think it's an organizational theory. Unless you're just super elite as a guard, you're not going to get paid.
Yeah,
and that's not just a Niner theory. That might be a league-wide theory.
That's true. But again, if you have a cheap quarterback, you can kind of splurge on other positions, and there's no reason to just downgrade at left guard if you don't have to. But maybe Banks is good. I have no idea.
To me, I'll say this. Banks took a lot of criticism, but Banks looked good to me in the preseason. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see it the same way other people saw it.
Okay. We got one more. Oh, Flav coming through with the generous $10 donation. Trey's average QBR. Now you're going QBR. You don't even know the formula for QBR when he had to play the full game. Going to be ugly. I think Shanahan has shown his confidence level through action. As soon as he can get Jimmy G in without losing credibility, Trey, he will. I love when people don't ask a question. It's just like, boom, so saith Flav. Here's $9.99. I appreciate it, though.
I've spoken.
It's like, it's going to be ugly. Again, they're going to have the best defense in the league and probably the best run game. That's never a formula for ugliness. That's a formula for winning most of your games, I think. I'm new to football.
This is a smart young quarterback who understands that take what the defense gives you. We've seen growth already sliding from him, the way to me, the tempo he plays with, the accuracy on the deep ball. Is he there yet in every phase, in every way imaginable? No. But I mean, I don't get the hue and cry. I was at a lot of these training camp practices. He looked pretty good. Yeah, he threw some picks, but Grant, you were there when Trent Williams spoke. He's like, "Hey, the defense has got they've got a list of the plays as well. They know what's coming, and it's true. You can't judge picks in camp."
Yeah, and Jimmy threw a lot of picks in camp, and Jimmy's quarterback rating in preseason last year was 55. So when people are acting like Trey's going to be so much worse than Jimmy, I think we're romanticizing what Jimmy is just because he's the backup. Everyone loves the backup, but Jimmy, I mean, he lost his job. The reason Trey's here is because Jimmy wasn't good enough, not because the Niners loved Trey so much, apparently.
And football fans don't watch the All-22. They only really see heirs of commission, not heirs of omission. They don't see the guy open down the field that doesn't get hit. They're not seeing that. So then you're thinking, well, Jimmy looks pretty good. The other thing is the NFC Championship game against the NFC Division game against the Pack. He threw 2 sideline passes that easily could have been pick sixes. If either of those plays gets made, he's being talked about like Jaquiski Tart. So, I mean, people just need to think about it.
R says Trey will win the MVP and the media will adore him. Yeah, I said it. Come on, guys, represent. I wouldn't go that far. But maybe if the Niners go undefeated, which they might. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I don't see the MVP.
What?
I don't see MVP this year.
I don't know that he's even going to throw for 3,000 yards. This team is going to run the ball. Justin says, what are the 3 keys to beating the Bears week 1?
turnovers.
Run the damn ball. Contain Fields. Because
don't let Fields bust a 35-yard run on you.
Keep him in the freaking pocket. Keep him in the pocket. He wants to get out of the pocket. He wants to back out. He wants to go left or right.
Coordinated rush is going to be the key. One of the keys. If they can coordinate their rush, the Niners put a ton of rush, and they've got the speed at linebacker that no other team in the league has. Unless they give him huge avenues, they're going to contain. The linebacker speed of the Niners will contain Fields.
They better, because that's the only way the Bears are going to move the ball. That team is terrible.